Alright, welcome to my mini bootcamp series. What a long time coming, I'm finally making this mini bootcamp type series after saying I would for weeks and weeks, so hopefully I can actually get through all the episodes. So in this first episode, before we get into the technical stuff for my actual model, I just kinda want to talk about my journey and what's really necessary in order to win. And hopefully this will just give you a good perspective of the market and cut out a lot of the time and a lot of the pain that I had to go through to get to profitability, really. So I started trading a year and a half ago now, and I think I started out how most people start out. I saw TGL's bootcamp on social media, and that kind of got me into trading. So I watched all of his bootcamps because there's three, so I watched all three of his bootcamps, and then I moved on to his trade recaps. I watched all his trade recaps. And then from there, I went to ICT. I watched quite a few of ICT mentorships. And I kind of went down this really deep rabbit hole of always learning and consuming and never really applying what I'd learned and giving what I'd learned an actual chance to see the results from that. And I feel like this is a big mistake most kind of newer traders make, is they just always are learning and never really applying. I've never, in the last 6 months, I've never watched a trading video because I don't need to. You should only really be learning when you're newer to trading, and then from there it's just sticking to your model. I also went down that deep rabbit hole, always trying to find the next thing, if that was a new pair, a new strategy, and even a new mentor. You name it, I've probably done it. And this really did affect my mental because I had people and mentors in one ear saying, do this is how the markets work. But I had people in the other ear saying, no, this is how the markets work. And they were all saying completely different things, and none of them correlated to saying one thing. And this really just caused so much confusion for me. And it got to a point where I probably did know everything I needed to become profitable. I just needed market experience. But I was stuck in this endless loop of just consuming, learning, and never applying what I'd actually learned. And it got to a point eventually where I just actually couldn't handle it anymore. I actually quit trading for a bit because I'd blown so much money on evals, on live capital, thinking I could get rich quick, and my education, with seeing no real progress. And this just completely destroyed my mental. So in that period when I wasn't trading, I came across the approach of mechanical trading, which is what I'm currently trading, where you have the perspective and go off fixed variables and go off a data-driven model instead of going off your own intuition and your own feeling of the market and market experience. This completely changed the game for me, and it made me see trading in a completely different light. Something I do just want to emphasize though on day one of this bootcamp is you can be profitable with any model. You can be profitable with ICT, even though it didn't work for me. I know people that are profitable with ICT within my Discord. It's just all about finding what kind of works for you personally and kind of what suits your personality. Because what I found over that year of failing is the kind of secret to trading is just being as simple as you can and doing the same thing every time you trade. Because like I said earlier, I fell into this trap of always adding more and always trying to add new things to my model, if that was a new confluence or a different pair. So with this model, it's extremely simple, but is extremely effective still, because this model is extremely simple, but it works and it's profitable and gives good results. In fact, this model produces better results than some people that I know that are trading infinitely complex models. But the main thing why having a simple model is so beneficial for us is it lets us stay consistent with it and turn up to the markets and do the same thing every time we trade. Because if you trade a super complex model, there's so many more errors that you can make to mess up your trading. So by keeping it simple, it's just so easy to stay on track and be doing what we need to be doing to be making money. Also, I think this is a massive reason why people just aren't profitable and why people really struggle to be profitable within the trading space. Especially ICT traders, they go with so many different variants, so many different confluences. If you think about it, if you're going off 3 different higher time frame confluences, then you're just going to be tapping into so many different bags of probabilities. For example, if you go off one day, you're going off a session sweep. the next day you're going off of fair value gap, the next day you're going off liquidity. It's like they all work, but by choosing a different one each day, you're just way more likely to lose money. Just stick to one thing every day, have a consistent definition for that, and it's so much easier to be profitable. Alright, that's enough yap from me. So we talked about my kind of journey, so we can get rid of that. The next thing I just want to quickly go over is what's really necessary in order to win, and the kind of approach to the markets you need to have if you want to be trading mechanically, because it's quite a different way of trading that you might be used to. So what actually is mechanical trading? Oh my gosh, I drew that so badly. It's fine though. So what actually is mechanical trading? So mechanical trading is when we base our model and our strategy off fixed variables. And what I mean by fixed variables is just clear definitions for each one of our confluences. So for example, let's say we have a confluence called a session sweep. What are we actually counting as a session sweep? Are we counting equal highs? Are we counting body closures or just wicks? And these are all things we need to get clear definitions for before we come into the market. Another thing to mention is mechanical trading involves no psychology, and that's the reason why it's so beneficial for us, because as you probably know, trading, well, the biggest thing within trading is your own mind and your own psychology. So if we can eliminate that, it's so much easier for us to become profitable. As you're not trying to get market experience with this model, you're just following a step-by-step plan and instructions. This is also so beneficial again because when you lose, you don't lose personally. Unlike when I was trading ICT, when I lost, I felt like I lost personally, and that really affects you when you're on a losing streak. But with a mechanical strategy, when you lose, it's just your model losing. So it's so easy and so much better for our psychology. So the next thing I just want to talk about is the RR we go for in this model. So with this strategy, we go for a 1 to 3 RR. And it's fixed. So we go for 1 to 3 fixed RR. And the benefits of this is we only need a 25% win rate just to be break even. And that's a really low bar to hit, to be honest. Again, this also benefits our psychology so much because we don't have that interpretation of where to base levels and where price is going to go. We just do a 1 to 3 every time, regardless of where a session sweep may be or a fair value gap may be. So that lets us be profitable so much easier. And I think coming from an ICT kind of person, this is also another reason why it's so difficult to be profitable trading ICT. I've nothing against ICT traders, but if you're going for like one-to-ones, let's say, or one-to-one risk to reward, you need a 50% win rate just to be break even. So let's say you go on a 3 win streak on a 1-to-1, you're going to be up 3R. Whereas if you go on a 3 win streak with the 1 to 3, you're going to be up 9R. And this is the reason why you can make serious money so much easier with a higher RR model, and why you can be profitable with a higher RR model so easily. So the next thing I want to quickly touch on is data and why mechanical trading is so beneficial with regards with data, because when we trade mechanically, we're just doing the same thing every time we trade. So it's so easy to go into the back-tested trenches and just get accurate data of what our model can do in the future. And effectively, this is what I've done. I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours refining, adjusting, tweaking different variants of the model, testing different, like fib levels, stop loss levels, RR levels, different confluences with different pairs. And this is how I built the most profitable system I can based off data. So I just want to quickly come back to simplicity because it's so important, because as you know, I trade a super simple model. But the great benefit of this is it lets me scale so much quicker and also not spend like 4 hours a day on a chart. Like I only spend an hour a day probably trading. And that's so beneficial for us because you don't want to be on the charts like all day. And I think this is like the main reason why I could scale so quick, like I said, and actually get 6 figures in funding this year. So I think I'm going to end the video off there because I went pretty deep on just episode 1. But if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments or in my Discord, because that's where I'm most active. I actually just want to end this video off on a bit of a lighter note, and really just give you a little bit of motivation and tell you what's really possible from trading, because as you know, trading really ruined my mental. As I said at the start of this video, I blew so much money, wasted so much money and time and effort on trading before seeing any results, even any small type of results. So I just want to tell you that it is possible to achieve whatever goals you may have within trading, if that's time freedom, if that's location freedom, and probably financial freedom if you clicked on this video. And also, this is the whole reason why I'm doing all this, and the whole reason why I have a free Discord, why I'm giving you so much free value, and why I'm making this bootcamp. Because I just want to see you guys winning and making money with me in the markets, and not really feel how I had to feel when I started out trading, which was really lost, to be honest. I had no idea what I was doing. So, see you in my Discord, and hopefully see you in the next episode. Peace.